Is the future of American border security being held hostage by a $2 billion fund?
President Trump's massive $70 billion immigration enforcement package has officially entered a danger zone, and the situation in the Senate is shifting from a standard policy debate into a high-stakes legislative nightmare. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and keeps us bringing you the latest updates from the Capitol. The heart of this conflict is a controversial, now defunct $2 billion fund initially tied to a settlement between the Trump family and the IRS. The fund was labeled an anti-weaponization tool, but it has become a lightning rod for criticism from both sides of the aisle. For Republicans, the fear is that this pool of money could be accessed by individuals including those involved in the January 6 Capitol riot without proper guardrails. For Democrats, it's a target to be dismantled. Now, as the Senate enters a marathon vote-a-rama, this fund is the ticking time bomb that could blow up the entire border enforcement package. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has expressed confidence, noting that Republicans held together during the first procedural hurdle on Wednesday. But confidence in the Senate is often short-lived. The legislative strategy here is delicate. The border package is moving through the reconciliation process, which allows for a simple majority vote. However, if amendments designed to kill this $2 billion fund are successfully added to the bill, it could destroy the bill's privilege, effectively killing the entire border package or forcing a 60-vote threshold that it likely cannot meet. This is where the political infighting gets really interesting. We are seeing fractures within the GOP that are starting to show. Senators like Tom Tillis and Bill Cassidy are pushing for amendments to ensure that this $2 billion fund is effectively neutralized. They aren't necessarily looking to tank the border bill, but they are absolutely intent on making sure that this specific fund and the controversy surrounding it is removed from the equation for good. They want to ensure that it never returns and that there is no possibility for someone in the White House to change their mind down the road. Meanwhile, Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso is busy trying to keep the party unified, blaming Democrats for creating distractions. But the reality is that the resistance isn't just coming from across the aisle, it's coming from within the GOP's own ranks. When you have members of your own party teed up to offer amendments that could theoretically tank your own leadership's priority legislation, you know the situation is volatile. The looming question for the Senate referee is whether these amendments will be considered under the strict rules of the Byrd Rule. If the referee decides these amendments are germane to the reconciliation process, they could pass, and the resulting chaos could leave the entire $70 billion immigration package dead on arrival. The leadership is gambling that they can block these efforts, but as we've seen time and time again in the Senate, all it takes is one creative piece of legislative drafting to shift the entire landscape. This situation perfectly illustrates the friction between broad policy goals and specific, high-tension political battles. Everyone agrees that the border needs attention, yet the entire effort is currently being squeezed by this single $2 billion issue. If this package fails, the political fallout will be immense, and it will be up to the public to decide who is really to blame, the Democrats who want to see the fund disappear, or the Republicans who are willing to risk a border bill to make sure their own concerns are addressed. So, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Republicans should force the kill switch on this $2 billion fund even if it risks the entire border enforcement package, or is the border security funding too important to gamble with? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. As we head into these upcoming votes, keep your eyes on the Senate floor. The politics of this are incredibly fluid, and the outcome will define the next few months of this administration's legislative agenda. Stay tuned, stay informed, and keep asking the tough questions. We'll be right here to break it down as the numbers roll in.